As you create content inside of Bootstrap, there's going to be a lot of resources here. So first thing, there's this menu off to the left here that's got lots of drop-down menus for you to be able to look through things like, for instance, content, showing you typography, images, tables, laying out your page in columns, grid, or containers. And then under components, there's lots of different things you can bring in, like popovers and carousels, buttons, badges, lots of things. And you may think, well, I've never really used any of these before. Well, that's because they take a lot to code. But what's great about it is that Bootstrap's going to do that for you. In addition, up here, you can also search for this. So let's say, for instance, I wanted to search for heading styles. If I type in the word heading, you're going to see typography headings pops up. And I can click on that and go to that page, and it's going to pop me to it. You can see what headings are going to look like, give examples of showing you those styles. And if you scroll down here, you can see that there is even classes that you can call upon to apply headings to other tags instead of just an H1 tag. In addition, there's other types of headings like faded secondary text or display headings. So what's important to note is that although we just introduced classes are going to become very, very useful. So let's say, for instance, I want to make a heading one, that heading one of Hello World, be a muted heading. Now, if you go back to the Bootstrap website, you can see that with faded text, you can see that there's text muted. What we can do is we can go ahead and go into this H1 tag and call upon the class and open up our quotation marks. You'll see then that if you scroll through, there are a ton of classes that Bootstrap has already coded for you. And what I want to point out again is if I go back to that HTML or the CSS file that has all the coding in it, and I look for text-muted, you're going to see that when I find it here, that it's giving it a color of a light gray. So that right there, text-muted, is a tag that I can call upon and be able to actually use. So what I'm going to do is here, I'm going to go ahead and put in my class of text-muted, and you'll see that immediately it becomes a light gray. Now notice it's now overwriting my CSS that I have on my external because it's a color in line as a class that's getting called upon last to then be applied. You can also do things like create a display heading. Display headings are just a great way to show that page content. You can see that they show you, why they made a display heading and what it's for. So when you need a heading to stand out, consider using a display heading, a larger, slightly more opinionated heading style. So you can see display 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's just another class. Now, they show it in the case of an H1. We could do it on any tag we want to. So let's say, for instance, I go to my name. I'm going to click enter before it and do a paragraph tag around my name. So I'm going to type the paragraph tag and then go move the closing to the end of my name. I can give this a class, and if I start typing in display, you'll see display 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 pop up. And if I click on display 1, it'll apply, making it a much larger heading and a thinner style. So they've coded this already for you. Again, going back to this CSS, if I go all the way to the top and I search for that display -1 right here in my find box, it's going to find it telling you what the font size is, font weight, line height, etc. So that's that display -1 class I just called upon. Notice they're using the period before it because that's a class, and I'm able to then use it inside of the coding. Again, remember, this is all just CSS that somebody else coded for you, and you're just pulling it out and utilizing it as you go.